I totally enjoy talking to him every time he joins us. He's no new face till the afternoon show. You can hear the song in the background. His latest song, Afrobeats and Salsa, he calls it They Know. He's a multiple Grammy Award nominated artist. He is an Afro roots singer, record producer. He's also a United Nations Goodwill Ambassador and Ghana's latest cultural ambassador as well. He's the man, Rocky Dawuni. He doesn't need introduction, but there he is. Rocky, good to have you again.
Thank you very
on the
much.
Show.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You know where we're going to start from. Congratulations.
Ooh, thank you so much.
That recognition.
Thank you so much.
By the government of Ghana to be a cultural ambassador. One of 4 or 5?
Five
cultural ambassadors to the world.
Yes.
What does this mean to you, Rocky?
You know, for me, the thing is that it's a big sense of humility for me, because I have always worked in that space, throughout my career. I've always believed in, advocating on behalf of Ghana, bringing our narrative and our culture and our history and sharing it with the rest of the world. Even when I put out a song in Ghana, it did so much wonders, because I remember that was like the first time it really launched me internationally. I played on many stages around the world, traveled around the world. My first major tour was due to the song that I was doing out of a sense of patriotism to my country. So my dedication to my country has been something of that I never did it for the sake of being rewarded. I always felt that, once you're given a blessing, you have to go out there and utilize whatever ability that you can use to open doors and create new paths, even to the point of when I was nominated for a Grammy for the first time in our history of our country. I felt that it was not something that was for me, but it was something that to show that the talent pool here can do it. If a child of the country is doing it, then that means that we have the capacity to be able to do it. So it was never about me. It was about constantly being able to draw the attention of the country. So, this designation for me, it's just, it was really humbling, and but I received it with a sense of gratitude and a sense of renewed dedication to my cause to advocate for this country.
It couldn't just be that recognition you got from the government of Ghana to give you that renewed thing you're talking about. There's also the one we saw recently from the Prime Minister of Barbados, Mia Mottley, quoting your lyrics at the just ended United Nations General Assembly.
It was actually the one, I think the one
It was one before
this
one.
Yes.
You know what? It's very important for us to listen to that.
Yes.
And then you tell us what that also means for you.
Okay.
I asked myself on Monday night, as we met to determine the halfway point of the SDG goals, how many roads we have to walk just to make it to the door, only to be told that the door is closed. Those are not my words. Those are the words of Rocky Dawuni, a famous reggae artist from Ghana, nominated by M4 for awards multiple times. But his words ring because, in a very real sense, are we going to trod the roads only to be told that it's too late? Too late for us to save as many as we can from the climate crisis. Too late for us to save as many as we can from the conflicts of war. Too late for us to be able to provide the food that so many need, as we reflect on the fact that more people are likely to be hungry in this world in 2030 than in 2015, or as we get to the basic numbers that 735 million people suffered chronic hunger last year at a time when so many others had so much to throw away and to use. Are we going to be too late?
That was the Prime Minister of Barbados addressing the UN General Assembly, I think, last year, and she quoted you. Yes. Mia Mottley is known for giving great speeches, and for her to quote your lyrics again, what does that mean to you?
You know, it's the thing is that a lot of times, you know, when you are in the creative mode, you just create, you know, and you write and you distill inspirations from the people you engage with, or I call it like putting yourself in the divine pipeline and downloading God energy into you, and then you write it, and then you become a conduit and you express it. But it is also very kind of amazing when you have, you know, a head of state who is respected as one of the orators of our time, addressing the leaders of the world, and then seeing her pivotal speech, this leaders, where she saw the importance of the words that are in your music, and took the words and then utilized the words as a means to address the leaders. And at the same time, too, quoted and mentioned my name as the source of that inspiration. For me, it shows the power of the creative sector to be an instrument of cultural diplomacy. It shows that the artists have a certain innate insight into communicating, and that innate aspect needs to be distilled to help the country, our nation, our people tell our story. For me, I know that it's something that is historic, and something that is going to live forever. You know, I've seen like great speeches, whether it's Kwame Nkrumah or whether it's Haile Selassie, who have stood on the same podium and spoken, and those words have lived through history. So to have my words be part of, enshrined in a system where world leaders and global affairs are determined, I feel that it's also something for our country, that we mint amazing, creative people. And it's not only about me, it's about those whose footsteps I learned and emulated for me to be able to have the capacity to articulate and create words that have that resonance.
Absolutely. And
Yes.
it also goes to show the unifying power of music.
Yes.
And we totally love it. Rocky, let's go back to global issues. And again, your lyrics being used on global platforms like the UN General Assembly. Now that you're a cultural ambassador also with a diplomatic passport, please carry me along wherever you go. What issues do you think, or what areas in Ghana do you think the world needs to know about?
Well, I think the whole thing is that, first of all, it's about changing the narrative, you know, because when you think about the narrative of Africa, most of the time, the narrative even within, you know, we know what the narrative is within, but when you go without, you have various perceptions and perspectives. And we as emissaries of our country need to be able to make sure that the right information is communicated to the rest of the world. We are worthy articulators and champions of our cultural heritage. We are worthy ambassadors of championing of the indigenous African identity. By the indigenous African identity, I mean our traditional ways. You know, I think that a lot of it has been lost in translation, because our educational system embraced a Western sense of education. But in embracing that too, there was an erosion of our identity and who we are. And I feel that that is one aspect too that has brought us in a state where when we engage the world does not like necessarily, we are seen as a continent that is in need, a continent where there's disease, but we are the continent of wealth. We are the continent of proud youth who are defining the character of the world. I remember our president at his UN General Assembly speech, he said, the future is African,
Yes.
which is something that the whole world now knows, that no matter what anybody does, in about 50 years' time, the young people in Africa will be the determinants of global affairs. So how do we instill a sense of identity, a sense of pride, a sense of cultural awareness? We can't be a version of Western civilization. We have to be exporters of an African civilization.
Yes, indeed.
So that means that we have to re-engineer, we have to decolonize in certain aspects that, you know, our educational system, our cultural system, we have to elevate the traditional culture, we have to elevate the traditional institutions, the traditional music, the cultural music, and all of it to redefine what our identity is. Because people are now, many cultures are now at their apex, and they are in decline. And right now, most of them are pushing us into a digital world, which is not human. You know, they're thinking that humanity has to become robots in order for us to thrive. But we in Africa know that we are the source of humanity.
Yeah.
So family, love, community, humanity, you know, the cultural dimension, our food, our dances, this is what makes us human. So how do we take all of those elements and with a sense of authority tell the world that this is where the world needs to go and bring it to the world? We have to be bold in how we communicate it. And we have to be convincing in how we communicate it. And we have to also tell it in a way that we don't need permission from others in order for us to validate our own identity. And for me, that is the character of the communication that I'll be carrying. And you don't have to necessarily be confrontational about it. It's in the way you do. The music, you fuse your traditional music into the music. You know, our clothing, we elevate the designers here. This is a Ghanaian designer, but when you look at it, every time I walk outside, people, even top designers, come to me because all the clothing I wear, they will think it's like some high-end designer out there, but I've never really worn. All of them are Ghanaian designers. So it gives me the conversation to also talk about them. But that shows that we have the wealth here. Yeah. We have the capacity here. And with a little bit of change of mindset and a little bit of also looking inwards and supporting each other, I feel that we will create the wealth that we need without actually going out there for somebody to actually give us money and buy our wealth.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We don't have to sell our wealth for money. We are already rich. We are blessed with, you know, the most, every mineral that you think about. Those that are now and those that are going to be used in the future are all here. And we have the youth population. We just need to give the right mindset and that sense of direction. And I think that everything will fall in place.
You know what's interesting? Now I have gotten something from you to quote. We don't have to sell our wealth for money.
Yes.
That is very powerful.
Yes.
Very powerful. And I know that if I continue, you're very thought-provoking. You're going to go deeper and deeper and deeper. Your story is very inspiring. And I wonder, what is a typical day in Rocky's life like? Because you have this new recognition as the ambassador, cultural ambassador.
Yes.
You are a UN Goodwill ambassador. Yes. You have other things that you
I have farms. For? I have my cocoa farm.
You're a farmer too?
Yeah. It's harvest season right now. I just sold some cocoa to Cocoa Board a few, you know. We're the harvest season.
Rocky.
My farm is up in Samai. So, you know, and I have also a mushroom project that is in my hometown in Bumbong, where I'm training a lot of women in terms of mushroom production. So we have a setup there that we're doing that. We've been working on that, and that's actually a collaboration with the government of Australia, that project, and through my foundation.
How are you doing all of this?
You know, the thing is that it's just something that you just do it, right?
Do you sleep?
You just do it.
Do you sleep?
I think so. I think I sleep. And then I also have hives that so I produce my own honey. You know, in the northern region, I have like hives that I have bees, and then I have a coconut farm up in Obuetebiri in Koforidua.
This is inspiring.
You know, so for me,
folks should be naming you. They are not they're not looking in the right places. They should be naming you right now. It's impressive.
But it shows all of us the capacity. That's why I'm saying that all that wealth and that kind of stuff is here. You know, and being a musician does not mean that you don't have other things that are of interest to you.
Yeah.
I grew up, farming was one of my favorite things to do. And taking the soil and transforming the power of the earth into wealth was one of the things that I learned early. And that's what I feel that we need to recognize, that the wealth we're looking for is not out there. It's right where we stand.
It's right here. And the new one, I know you have 4 new songs, but the one we were talking about now.
Well, that was just released a few days ago, and we just filmed the video in Miami.
Oh.
And so that is also eligible for the Grammys.
Wow.
So, for Best Global Music Performance. And then the prior one was the one I did with Cedella Marley. That's also right now doing extremely well. But this is, they know. Yes.
They know. Rocky, looking at all these things, how does it feel having different cultures come together?
Well, this is such an incredible, because the thing that we talk about bringing cultures together, and there's certain artists that I respect, you know what I mean? And I also feel that there's always the opportunity. I do music because I love the power of innovation, the power of going where nobody has gone and creating something new. We brought salsa and Afrobeat together. And so this led to a collaboration, myself being from Ghana, also representing West Africa and the sound. Match B, who's a Grammy-winning R&B rising star out of America. Tony Sukar, who's like the biggest salsa artist in the world.
Wow.
And then South Africa's multiple award-winning jazz flautist, Walter Kellerman.
Beautiful.
We came together and made this incredible classic because this is a blueprint for what is possible. So I know that the Afrobeat salsa kind of dimension, people are going to look at this as the starting point of that because it's also creating the cultural conversation. Because it's not only through politics that you bring people together.
Yes.
And salsa is a Black African style,
Yeah.
but it's also in the Latin world. Black Latin world created that sound. So, and salsa is becoming popular even in Ghana everywhere. There's salsa clubs and all that. So for me, you use the music to create that cultural conversation, and also you use the music to elevate the commonality that we share. And you use the music to amplify unity rather than division, especially in the time in the world that we are right now.
Beautiful.
You go on your social media, everything is dividing you.
Yeah.
Whether you are one party or another party, whether you are American or you're this, whether you are Israeli or you are Palestinian, whether you are this, you are that, the world is being divided in so many ways. But for me, I am an ambassador of peace. I'm an ambassador of unity. I just elevate the energy of God, and I feel that projects like this, I utilize what I know best, which is the power of
We are
music.
bringing the Grammy home. We are bringing it home. Thank you so much, Rocky, for that insightful conversation
Yes,
with Neil.
yes,
Wishing you the best.
Yes. And then before I leave, I'm doing an event in the northern region.
Okay.
My hometown, first of all, the annual Yam Festival on November 1st, I'll be there. I'll be playing live in my hometown in Bombong with the chiefs and people. But this Saturday, I'm also going to be at Woodin Restaurant, playing for Change Day with Muhammad Alidu and all of this. So I will be there to do an acoustic performance. So all the people in Tamale, come and support on this Saturday at Woodin Restaurant. It's going to be a free event. We just bring in the energy. This is all part of activating a sense of national pride and then harmonizing it with the national objective.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And we'll be there